Alright, welcome back to Terra Invicta, where I am now horribly over my control point cap because we have just launched my favourite thing in the game, a coup. And specifically, we've done it in India, throwing the Protectorate out of their superpower base. Now, this has, of course, put us way over our limit. Now, we can do without Myanmar's boost income, because at this point, boost is becoming secondary to us. So there you are, that dumps us down to 336. The question now is, do we let go of Pakistan? Pakistan has 2 mission control. It's a good place to be. And what we would like to do in India is claim CP4, because CP4 will block anyone else for going after the executive control point. Even if we don't get the executive point ourselves because we can't afford it, it would be good to block everyone else out of India while we're at it. So I'm tempted to leave to get rid of Pakistan despite its relative importance to our country. It's got a grand total of 30 against the cap, which would put us at 306 of 294. That would be starting to get manageable. If we grab the right level ups and right organizations, we might just be able to do it. We have abandoned Iraq, so it's not counting. So I think we're basically, what have we got? We've got Israel, Iran. Why we have an Iran CP? We have an Iran CP. We have the executive CP in Iran. That's right. We abandoned it and then we abandoned the nukes and then no one ended up taking the CP. Okay, so that saves us a little bit. That's down to 325. So we would be within cap. If we abandoned Pakistan, we would be within cap. So I think what we might want to do is defang Pakistan, because I don't think we're likely to go back. So we won't leave immediately. What we'll do, as usual, is just to defend it. We will do just a little bit of robbery on our way out. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of robbery on our way out, but importantly, we will set national priority. We'll disarm the nukes so that no one who's left behind can use them. We might disarm the army, I'm not sure. And then I think we abandon Pakistan, at least for the moment. We can eventually get a thing which allows India and Pakistan to merge and become the same nation. I'm not keen to do that right now. So let's just run the turn for a bit. We're going to be horribly over for a moment. We're going to be very vulnerable while this happens. New outpost mining complex getting online. Great. Notice how MC has boosted up again, so we might even be able to expand our low Earth orbit or our Mars activities. As soon as we get the orbital cores complete, that'll also allow things to really jump up. Okay, so India, we've got most of the armies under control. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can squeeze out any points. No. None of our quick learners are at 16. None of our standards are at 20. Okay, so, oh, wait a minute. I thought I saw an admin group there. There we are, Hestia Financial Group. Expensive, but it will give us 6 administration, which is exactly what we want right now. Bard doesn't need it, so Kamya maybe needs it, because that would jump her to admin 24 and let her equip a bunch of other stuff as well. Yeah, okay, so she's got options. There's a space systems one here which gives boost and mission control, which is attractive. A lot of these are attractive. Okay, and of course she can get criminal organizations. This is a good place to be. This is a good place to be, and she'll level up soon. We're at 325 over 300. We'll save 30 on removing Pakistan. I think she wants this persuasion boost. I think she wants definitely this persuasion boost. Also takes us up to 302 and makes her more effective at her job, because I want to build her up to the point where she can turn councillors. The research bonuses are good. The mission control and whatnot bonus is likewise quite good. But I feel like I can put that on someone else and grab strategic communications for her, because that will give us even more efficacy on her part. Bang. Okay, so we're at 303. Not bad, and she's now at 15 persuasion. With 1 point to spare, I think we want to dump one of these less useful ones. Like, our income of ops is very important to us, but I'm tempted to temporarily unequip this in order to get, say, the space systems equipped, or this tech boosting one. I feel like for the moment, at least, we can still use this. We'll build up a little more boost and that. So there she is. She's in good shape. We're at 303. Life is good. We have some unassigned orgs that we can throw on other people later on. But I'm feeling pretty good about this. Okay, confirm assignment. So we need someone to go investigate alien activity. We need someone to go set national priority. Actually, no, you need to take control of that national point there. Bard, I know it's a weird thing for you to be doing, but can you please set national priority in Pakistan? And then once you've done that, we'll disarm the nukes and then we'll abandon the state. And then I think we're in a pretty good place. That'll knock us down MC, but we'll get a little more MC for taking over India. And then India has great potential for us. Like, it's already producing 300 science. It's jumped up our research capacity considerably. Obviously, the US is our primary economic driver, but India has potential too. And a whole bunch of armies that are reasonably advanced. Looks like the Protectorate was investing a fair amount in tech. They're about the same level as Russia. So behind the EU and whatnot, but there's a reasonable number of armies here, one of which has a navy. Like, there's potential if we add some navies to maybe more Indian military forces, maybe upgrade the military. Worth thinking about. The other option, of course, is I might disband some of the Indian military in order to increase their number of investment points. Just a thought. Alright, back shortly. Okay, so we can now disarm warheads for Pakistan. Pakistan now has no nuclear warheads and thus isn't much of a danger, and now we can confirm the withdrawal. Fantastic. And Ethiopia and Tigray have peacefully merged into one country yet again. Fantastic. Alright, so we're now under our cap. The next capture in India will put us over, but that is okay. I'll find a way to manage it, but at that point, India will be locked down. Fantastic. Most importantly, the bloody Protectorate has been kicked in the teeth. They're going to have spare capacity now. Like, there's no avoiding it. But where are they going to go? Breaking into China is going to be difficult, so I imagine they're going to have to start sweeping up countries in Africa, or the ones that aren't already run by the capitalist corpo megastate in South America. Brazil, for example, is very corporate at this point. Let's put it that way. But hey, it's producing boost and mission control. Although Exodus, the single-minded bastards, I love them. Lower Guinea, 0.44 boost output per month. This is like, that's a respectable boost output, and they're putting it out of Lower Guinea, and the Exodus is managing to squeeze it out of a lot of countries. The good thing about Lower Guinea is it is on the equator, so they've been able to upgrade it a little bit there. Good on them. So the AI is just generally getting more aggressive at this point. So Mexico has built an army controlled by the resistance, and they're now invading Belize, while the Protectorate has responded to us seizing India by going into Iran, taking the Iranian army, and because this always ends well, they've declared war on Afghanistan, which is controlled by the resistance. So the Iranians are invading Afghanistan. Awesome. Meanwhile, we've allied India with the Eurasian Union and with the United States, creating this nice little superpower trio. It does mean we're essentially leaving China to whoever wants it, but as you can see, no one has been able to break into China yet. China's just continuing along doing its thing, allied only to the North Koreans. You know, good friends to have. Also, the servants have built a considerable space program in Mongolia. Go them, I guess. It's interesting to see the increased emphasis that a lot of AI factions place on boost in this version. I quite like it. Also, the European Union has indeed combined the Benelux in, freeing up some control points for Exodus. It'll be interesting to see where they expand next. They don't really have any other European countries they can absorb, or maybe Bulgaria. If that crackdown finishes on that point in Bulgaria on the legislature, maybe they can absorb that one. So that'd be interesting. Bulgaria into the European Union. And then I'm not sure where their next option is, but in any case, it's definitely clear Exodus is winning the war for Europe. Also, they now have 2 armies in Europe, and they're about to finish a 3rd. So Europe is actually militarily reasonably powerful. They've lost a little bit of mil tech, which only happens by event, but they're going to have 3 armies at a reasonable tech level. That puts them at about 50% of what the United States is. That's not bad. If they could somehow get the UK, it would take them up to 4. And at 4 like Western standard armies, you can do some expansion by warfare. So I'm liking this. Go Exodus. Awesome. Okay, so orbital cores are the Tech 2 orbitals. We've got that, and we can now research Operations Center, which we absolutely will. The Operations Center, bang. This is the relatively expensive Tech 2 module that gives you mission control. This, coupled with solar power arrays and those T2 modules that I just unlocked, are what, when we combine with Mission to the Inner Planets, is going to create like the Mission Control Center of humanity, which is a base around Mercury. And finally, all of those Xeno science stations pay off. Agents for Humanity First have positively identified an intelligent alien operative in the Srinagar region of India. We may attempt to target this being with missions before it goes into hiding, and because we're Humanity First, you can expect that is exactly what we do. We could attempt to detain the thing, but we're Humanity First, so we're going to find it, we're going to kill it with fire. Oh, it's trying to launch a mission, no doubt. It's trying to launch an abduction mission, it looks like. That's what that looks like, abduction mission in India. So what are our odds? 2%. We can get a 13%. It's got mission difficulty 12, security, whatnot. Okay. We could attempt to hit it. I mean, I could try, but that's a bloody hard target. That's a bloody hard target. I feel like I'm obliged to do it. And also to investigate the alien site in question. But oof. Oh wait, Bard, I thought assassinate uses command. It doesn't. It uses espionage. So is there any way we can quickly... I'm going to juggle some organizations and increase some stats. I think I can drag his espionage up at least 5 or 6 points if I juggle some organizations. Give me a moment. Alright, I've done some juggling, and now these are odds that I can get behind. Almost a 70% chance on this hit, so let us go. Also, the alien immediately ran to China. Not sure whether that's because it has another mission there or whatnot, but interesting. We might surveil that region later. Bang! Boom headshot. I have eliminated Xenoform Alpha 3 of the aliens. We've learned a great deal about the aliens from this operation. We will receive a bonus to our xenology research going forward. Few among us would have ever believed this day would come, not only inarguable proof of life from another world, but the successful retrieval of an intact alien body, ours to study at our leisure. Returning it to the labs has been a challenge, however. Its cellular structure began to deteriorate at an alarming rate, which we believe was due to some sort of genetically programmed failsafe, presumably to prevent the race's enemies from learning about them. Fortunately, we were well equipped enough to quickly transfer the corpse into cryogenic storage. That's why you're a colonel, Mr. Castillo. By which point only its outermost extremities had succumbed to necrosis. More problematically, the pathologist tasked with the initial assessment quickly fell into a stupor. The effect dissipated within a few hours and did not repeat. A full post-mortem may now begin. Well, that was satisfying. The alien walked into an ambush right on schedule and went down to rifle fire. It tried to get up, so our boys broke out the heavy weapons. Long story short, it's definitely dead. Our chief pathologist complained about the number of bullets he's going to have to pick out. We told him to stop whining. And that's why I like Humanity First. Because just in case someone brought along a whole bunch of heavy weapons like a Mardus or something, and that is what finally put the thing down. Fantastic. Research hydrobiology when it becomes available. I'm happy with that. Now let's just check how much that pissed the aliens off. Okay, estimated alien threat level 1 star. And it's at 5 stars where they start causing us problems, so I'm happy with that. Fantastic. North Korea has joined the Vietnam-Cambodia war again. What is happening? What is happening? Okay, so the servants control North Korea because there is nothing more appropriate in this game than the servants controlling North Korea, despite the fact we're the most popular faction. So the Kim government is working for the pro-alien faction, but half of North Koreans think destroying the aliens is the right approach. I'm tempted to throw them out of North Korea, but they'd probably just go back. They're allied with China, the UK, Pakistan, and Vietnam. They are at war with Cambodia. Okay, so Vietnam is under Soviet control. Vietnam has built 2 armies. Jesus. Okay. So Vietnam has its maximum potential number of armies, I'm pretty sure, and they are invading Cambodia, which is under the control of the initiative. Well, Cambodia is not far for this world. So the servants have this little group of Vietnam and North Korea allied together, supported by the United Kingdom. There you go. All right, I shot an alien. I'm investigating some abductions. We're locking down India. I'm going to try and get more popular here. The Protectorate did grab the legislature, which is unfortunate, but it does mean that I control the others. I'm happy with that. I've allied India to my states. I haven't gotten rid of all of its wars yet. There's still a war with Eritrea, which is dumb. And at the moment, what I'm going to do first, before I build navies or turn India into anything else, before I do mission control or anything like that, I'm going to try and upgrade democracy knowledge. I'm going to try and develop India a little bit. I've built up, and I haven't been talking about this, I've built up a 76% bonus to investment in the economy objective. So we're basically getting 76% extra value here. So that 30% investment is actually above 40, which explains why I'm starting to get good growth in the US and India. Meanwhile, I'm keying Russia, or should I say the Eurasian Union, a little bit more. It's still going to democratize slowly. We're up to 3.3. We need to get it up to about 5 before it becomes like an anocracy, which is where I want it to be at minimum. But right now, our priority is mission control. So we've just completed another one. Israel is also on the hunt and is about to finish mission control point number 7. Thank you, Eretz Israel. You are vital. I should probably defend interests here because at this point, losing Israel would definitely endanger my mission control. India, meanwhile, is only giving us 3, but what it is giving us is 336 research points. I'll take it. Okay, continuing on the theme of Exodus being complete chads, not only is the European Union generating by itself 19 mission control, but they've decided to invade Iran and they're asking the US to go in on it. And I don't see a reason why not. We can hand over the CPs of Iran to Exodus. We can hurt Protectorate in the process. And of course, we can give the American military a little bit of an exercise opportunity. So here we go. And what we'll do is we will deploy a bunch of US divisions to Iran, probably directly to the Tehran province. It'll be expensive. It'll cost the US some economic development because those armies will be overseas and thus not discounted. But you know what? For Operation Exodus, I'm happy to help. At least I hope this gives them the CPs. If not, I'll wait for them to get there before I do it, or at the very least, I'll go destroy the Iranian army. There we go. 19 mission control, 6.8 boost. Man, talk about single-minded. And they're about to finish another army and they're well towards another navy. Good on them. Okay, so I may have reaped what I have sowed a little bit. In kicking the Protectorate out of India and whatnot, that was great, but they've now taken 5 of the 6 control points in China. They cannot, I believe, take the executive, which would allow them to declare war and do stuff like that. The reason being, I don't think they have the control point cap for it. Oh no, they're at 311 over 320. So we really want to knock them down a little bit. Now, they can't afford that point. That point costs 30 CP. It's pretty expensive. But they have a great degree of China over China now, and they're only 1 spot away from the big prize. If they do that, that's a problem. I haven't had a chance to get into China and disarm the nukes. That's the main thing I'd want to achieve. But there doesn't seem to be an opportunity to do it. Causing a coup in China is going to be very difficult. It's got a very, very high level of national cohesion and basically no unrest. Plus, it's so large economically that infiltrating it is extremely difficult. It does have extreme levels of wealth inequality, which is not helping it, and its rest value for cohesion is 0. So we'll see what happens now that they've taken over and don't spend as much on Unity. But yeah, suboptimal. I'm destroying some xenoflora, and unfortunately, I do not think I'm going to achieve much in China. So I'm going to go back to winning the population over in India, fortifying my position here. I've picked up some good technologies. The European Union did unify in Bulgaria, so they're feeling pretty good about life, I suspect. Are they at 3 armies? Oh, they're at 3 armies, but one of them belongs to the initiative. That must be so annoying for them. Okay, but they're building a navy. Hopefully, the navy will affect Army 2 that they control, and they can send both overseas at one time. They're also putting 24% of the economy into the military. Like, this is the most aggressive Operation Exodus I've ever seen, and I'm kind of here for it. Like, they're making good allies. The UK, under the Servants, has also finished a second army, so they've got two. It really will be time for us to go for a seventh army as the US at some point. I'm just enjoying pushing optimizing production just a little bit first. The tech level for the military is still going up. The democracy level is climbing quite well. I want to get this to around 9. GDP per capita is increasing, which means GDP overall is increasing, and inequality is getting very close to dropping into the low level, which is where I want it. Also, the rest state, which is like the natural place that cohesion sits if you do nothing, so without spending any money on unity, the US now has a rest cohesion value of 5. That's been improved by the reduction in inequality and a number of other things, including the fact that most Americans agree that destroying aliens is awesome. And because we found something that Americans agree on, that destroying the aliens is awesome, economic growth is awesome, invading Iran and Kazakhstan and whatever, that's all awesome. Most Americans agree, and therefore the American state is optimally cohesive. 5 is perfect for maximizing science output. So, we're going to continue overhauling the United States. India is coming on board as a major contributor. Once we get the GDP per capita and education level up in India even more, it's going to be insane what India produces. China might be lost to us. I suspect it is. But better the Protectorate control it than the Servants, I suppose. The Servants are not having a superb game by contrast. It's the Protectorate that have really sort of manhandled everyone else. In terms of orbital slots around Earth, there's still 4 slots left in LEO that are positive if we want to stack them up, but I'm saving it so that we can, as soon as we finish Mission to the Inner Planets, which I might even give a third priority point, that's not worth it. I'll keep it on 6 June because I also want to maybe finish nanofactories before then. I want to fire a Tech 2 orbital out to Mercury with like a Tech 2, preferably a construction module like a nanofab if we get there in time. Advanced atomic manipulation we need first in order to get that. And that can be our base around Mercury, but we will see. We will see. Well, here's North Korea being an absolute shit with an anti-satellite test that increases low Earth orbit debris, which is kind of crap because there's a lot of bad events tied to it. So good on them. And in other great news, there you are. China is now under full control of the Protectorate. They are over their CP cap. Or at least I thought they were. They must have abandoned some countries. They were under it, but they have clearly managed to bring themselves back within it. So China is under the full control of the surrender monkeys, who don't seem to be in the mood to surrender to anyone else. How I crack China open is a problem for later. At the very least, they are not under the control of the Servants, who are sort of confined to backwater states, plus the UK, which isn't a backwater, but it isn't exactly a superpower. So, we're in an okay spot. The Eurasian Union drifting towards middle, in okay position, mission control completing. We're almost at the point where we have the 3 spare free that we're going to need for Mercury, but I'm keenly aware of the fact that Kessler syndrome, which is an event that fires after you've got a certain amount of debris in low Earth orbit and is terrible, is probably now on the agenda. At the very least, mining incomes are now great across the board, and we're building up a solid stockpile of resources, which will let us engineer wherever we want to go from here. One thing I'm considering doing is going to my bases. I was going to say I was going to try and fit some MC into the bases, but really I don't have the option available to me. Also, Mars is now almost full. Exodus has got 3 slots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's still 1 free if we want it, but I'm not sure if we do. I might claim it just to keep everyone else away from it, and then work out. I might do that. Even though we're going to want it somewhere else, I will trade away other resources elsewhere. But there we are. Tempe Terra. We might build a mine there. We might not. We probably should for the base income. So let's do that. And I'll find a way to make up the Actually, I'm just going to triple solar collector here. I'm going to find a way to make up the MC requirement for Mercury. But there you are. So yeah, that's all the fun stuff on Earth. Space is going very, very well. Earth is good. Like, we're turning India around pretty quickly. But this China thing makes me nervous, especially since our good mates, Exodus, are sitting on this island over here. So, you know, that won't cause problems. See you soon. And I'm just including this as a reminder that we are humanity first. So there's been a series of bombings in Baghdad. Someone's been blowing up facilities, civilian targets, because they believe the government has been too soft on aliens since they arrive. We can say a day of national tragedy. We can launch a nationwide manhunt for the people involved. We can use the bombings as a pretext to hunt down our opponents, or we can use the bombings as an example to be followed, because blowing up people who surrendered aliens is a good thing. So we'll take the free points. Quantum batteries, that's a good project. Canada's still holding it together, so the resistance is clearly on top of something. We knew that was going to happen, so Iran is back in Protectorate hands. Well, didn't take long after the Exodus War, where all the points were then abandoned for Protectorate to come back in. Well, I wonder if that'll put them back over their limit again. Yep, that's put them back over their limit relatively considerably, so we'll have to abandon something. Alright, so we've been reconnoitering this servant. We're not quite persuasive enough to turn the guy. That's unfortunate. And we're not at war with the servants, are we? No, we are at war with the servants. So, I could assassinate him. That is a thing I could do. I could also detain him for interrogation. That might be what we do instead. There we are. We'll detain for interrogation, and we'll hostile takeover to grab any orgs that he has on him. It's reasonable that we be at war with the servants. Like, that's just something we should do. Okay, is there anything here that's cool? 5% unity. It's okay. Again, with the unity, I like the persuasion. Cheap persuasion point. Otherwise, I'm not seeing anything too interesting. This stuff is all too cheap. 4% knowledge, useful. Because we do a lot of knowledge investment. I was hoping for some higher stat ones, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that. Because we've got a lot of 1 stars already. Alright, well, I'll grab... No, that costs money. I'll grab this one. Just so they don't have it. And there we are, detain Councilor complete. We can hold this Councilor until 20 June, so we can only detain them for 15 days. But that disrupts their missions. And I presume they're now easy to target with other missions. Majority support in India. We need to campaign a little bit more in the US, but, you know, life is good. The funding from the US is going down, but the funding isn't why we keep the US around. There we are, completed nano factories. Fantastic. We were some way through another technology at this point. What was it? Patrol vessels. So we'll dial that back to 1. So we've got nano factories. We have all the power generations arrays we need. So now all we need is mission to the inner planets, and then I will be at a good point to stop this episode. Oh, and I need to open up a trade negotiation with someone else to sell our stuff. because we're going to need to sell some of our stations in order to afford the mission control. Unless we can find someone else that boosts our mission control for us. What has happened to our priorities in Israel? Oh, it's now full of... Okay, Israel's now at its maximum for mission control. Israel, so you have a maximum number of mission control per province, and Israel is now there. So what else do we get? What else can we do with Israel? I mean, it's very important to us. I guess we just divide up between funding. Like, let's do something like this. The economy 25, knowledge 25. We'll open with this, and then we'll see if we need to rebalance. So we'll just build up some funding in Israel, a little bit of money. We could spoil it, or we could use it for something else. We could build a... No, we can't build a navy. Doesn't have the economy to build a navy. Geez, I didn't expect we'd get there so soon, but we did. Eurasian Union pushing towards another mission control point. We will need that MC point. I might even prioritize it a little more because we're starting to get a little capped. And I don't want to point either the US or India towards mission control just yet. I can, but I don't want to. If I do, if I 100% India on mission control for a month, I'll get my next mission, my next MC point, which might be worth doing. I'll think about it. In the meantime, is there anyone we can negotiate with? Oh, sorry. Can we beat up the guy who is in... Yeah, let's see if we can trade with Exodus. Maybe they'll buy our stuff. And there we go. 65, no, we have heaps of influence. 73% chance to turn that Councilor to our side. Let's do that. And I'll just add a double campaign in the USA just to shore things up. Alright, to close out, what I've done is I've sent a probe to Mercury. I've unlocked in a mission to the inner system. I've sent a probe. I should get there first. I've also started building a station here. Now, you can go straight to an orbital, but the cost to send an orbital pre-built, so a T2, to Mercury is like 287 boost. It's 36 and then like 70 for an upgrade in order to do it the slow way, which is send a T1 and then send a T2. So this will be finished in November, and then it will take 125 days if I have... it'll take 125 days to update it to level 2, at which point we can throw a nano factory on here and we can start the mass expansion of the Mercury area. This is a toehold in the Mercury system, which is fine. But that's okay. As long as we're first to get here and we're first to expand out, I'm happy. The other thing we might want to do is throw a shipyard on this thing, like a space dock. Just so we've got one handy in case you want to build any ships out there. I've started getting the basics of what I need for a decent ship together. What I really need is to start completing more of these techs down here. So I'll lower carbon nanotubes and I'll improve maintenance procedures to unlock that slot, because what we want to get to is some better engines. I've got copperhead missiles, I've got some basic weapon systems for very early game defense. What I need now is a better engine set to propel my ships, so I'm going to work on that. I think my goal this game is going to be pulsars rather than the Orion engines, which are very, very cool. I think I'm going to go for advanced pulsars that typically perform pretty well. We should be getting some MC finished both in orbit. I've got one station prepping in orbit with mission control elements. I am worried about our monthly income, so Israel is going to build up additional funding sources, which is okay. I might even do that. There we are, just rebalance it just a little bit. India doing what it's doing, fixing itself up. Russia in the Eurasian Union, I've got it working on some mission control. In fact, I may even have it knock out 1 or 2 extra points of ground-based mission control because I need it. Meanwhile, looking at Protectorate China, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. There are ways around it, but this is going to be a problem. Now, it's not great in terms of MC or boost because the neutral CPs didn't invest very heavily in it. The Protectorate does, but it is building another army. In fact, it has built another army. It's building a navy. It's building more nukes, which I would prefer it didn't. 3 is good to deal with. 5 would be getting a bit high in terms of what you can do without destroying the entire global economy. As it is, the North Korea strat might be open to us. We disarmed Pakistan quite deliberately, but there might be other options available to us. Anyway, I think that's a good place to leave this one. We've done some more expansion. I'm going to offload my less useful moon base. Our resource production is absolutely humming. Like, we're doing 373 metal a month, we're doing 42 nobles a month, huge pile of fissiles. Like, we can build the world's best space nuclear arsenal with arrays of reactors with the income that we've got rocking. I'm very happy with that. And we have about almost 5,000 water, which we need to build up to tens of thousands if we're going to build any reasonably sized fleet using conventional engines. I'm happy generally. I feel like our economic base is really, really good. I'm concerned by Protectorate China. I prefer it to Servant China. I like the powerful, slightly militaristic, now with 3 armies, EU. Geez, okay. Oh, no, I did notice that before. I called that out before because the initiative had the third one. I just saw the different color and I was like, wait, is that new? No, it's not new. It's just under initiative control. So there we are. Hopefully they get to throw that initiative point out at some point. I'd like to see Exodus fully control the EU. And then I'd like to see them expand a little more. If they can kick the Protectorate out of Greece, for example, that'd be a nice expansion point. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you are all enjoying. By the time this one goes up, everyone should be pretty close to playing Terra Invicta for themselves. So this may be the last episode you see before release. I hope it has been useful in teaching basic lessons, and I will talk to you all again soon.